Hey guys, welcome back to TAMIYA Legends, and once again thank you for stopping by. So this is part one of a video series I'm doing on the what I'm calling a DF-01 custom builds. There's going to be two. So long story short, the TAMIYA Top Force Riri that I've been running for a while is I'm coming to the end of using it, and I wanted to do something a little bit different with it. Now, I like when people bling Tamiyas up, fit hop-up parts and just make them custom. I really like that, and it's kind of I've done things like that in the past, and I thought the Top Force is a perfect car to do that with. So initially, I was looking around of what's the best way to do it. So I've kept seeing this picture on Google, and it's just a stunning car. I don't know who made it. I believe it's a Tamiya Club member, but as you can see, it's a fully hopped up Tamiya Top Force, so it's full carbon everywhere. It's got every aluminium hop up part, and it just looks really cool. So that's what I started out. I wanted to make one of those. So that's what I wanted to make, but when I started pricing it up to actually buy all the parts to convert this, it is extortionate. So sadly, just due to how much it costs, I can't do it. So I had to think about what I was going to do, and in the meantime I've been offered through a YouTube subscriber, so a big shout out to Darren. He's got a Tamiya Blazing Star, and he said I could have it just so I could do it back up, restore it to whatever I wanted it to be. So it's not this particular car, this is a dirt thrasher, but it's identical to this apart from the wheels and tyres. So because I had two cars on the go, I wanted to figure out what was the best thing to do. Obviously I want to do the Top Force up, but I've also got this standard Blazing Star, which is one of my least favourite looking sort of Tamiya buggies. I think the Manta and the Dirt Thrasher and Terra Conqueror are much better looking. Anyway, so this is what I've decided to. So the standard Top Force Riri, there was a guy on my Facebook group who's just completed a Tamiya Top Force Evolution. He calls it a clone. It's a lookalike. It's as close as it can get to the Evo car. Evo parts, all the differences from the Evo to the standard Top Force. There is so many, it's unbelievable, and you cannot buy these bits anywhere. I'm sure you can somewhere, but the parts are just mega expensive, and you just have so much money tied up, even if you could find the parts. But you can make it look identical. So that's what I've decided to do with this Top Force. So the part one of this DF-01 chassis project is going to be the Top Force. So what I've just ordered all the bits. This is why I'm doing this video, because I thought it'd be pretty cool for you guys to sort of see what's involved and the thinking behind it, and the research you have to do to figure out, if you've never done it before, if it can be done. So the first stage of this, I've ordered a full carbon set for it. So that's a full carbon chassis, carbon top deck, and carbon front and back towers. I've also ordered carbon battery stairs, so it all matches. And what's really cool, where the Top Force has these aluminium standoffs at the front and back, I've actually ordered, the guy who makes these chassis, I've actually ordered, it comes with, the sleeves are like anodized metal, but it has a carbon sleeve that fits over them, and it looks really trick. So when it's all on, it's going to look absolutely superb. So I'll go on another video when the carbon stuff arrives. I'll make a separate video with links and costs and everything, because it's stunning, it really is. So that was a part one. Now the next problem you have with this car is, if you're making it an Evo, you need to find a set of high cap dampers, which are mega expensive. Tamiya reread them again, probably, I don't know, about a year and a half ago, and they've all gone. And the prices have just gone through the roof. For a full set of Top Force high caps, you're generally looking around about 100 to 120 quid, which is, it's scandalous. Anyway, luckily enough, I know a guy who's got a couple of sets, so I sort of kept it quiet to everyone else, and when the time came I messaged him, and I've now got a brand new set of high caps, Top Force high caps on the way to me. So I'm super chuffed about that. So again, for me, this is Tamiya's most iconic damper set. It's not, I'm not saying it's the best, but it's the most iconic because they look superb and they are pretty smooth. So again, when they arrive, that'll be a separate video building them up from scratch and things like that. So that was the two main ingredients I needed. The next problem I had was the Top Force wheels are like a tangerine orange colour. Again, those wheels were only used on two cars, which was originally the Evo, and they also used them on the Terra Conqueror. In the past, on a previous video, I made a lookalike Terra Conqueror, and I sprayed the actual wheels. They looked okay, but they weren't great. But since then, there's a couple of guys on the Facebook group who have actually used what they call REET dye, and they dye the wheels, and it absolutely looks amazing. So I've got the dye on order, I've got a new set of wheels on order. Again, that'll be a separate video, dyeing the actual wheels, because that's going to be pretty cool and a bit of a learning curve for me. So we've got the wheels, and I've got a new set of tyres coming as well. What does that leave us with? So, and obviously then it's a new body and shell and decals. Now, you can still get hold of Tamiya bodies. Whether I've not ordered the body and decals yet, whether I go for a Team Blue Groove reproduction shell, I may well do, or if I can find a Tamiya Top Force shell at a decent price, because obviously I need the under tray as well. So I've yet to still source that, and the decals will 100% be reproduction, and obviously we get the super quality decals from MCI Racing, so I need to order those. But, and I've also got a set of Tamiya Top Force Evolution turnbuckle set coming, which I've ordered, which have the adjustable knuckle, so you can put the spanner on for easy adjustment. So I've got those on order as well, and I've also got a full set of seal bearings on order. But now we're sort of getting into the second project with the turnbuckles and the bearings, because this Top Force is fully ball raced anyway, so I probably wouldn't change it out. That's about as much as I can do to make it look like an Evo. I'm not going to go to the expense of finding a full titanium screw set, one-way diff on the fronts, rear UJs. There's lots of it. It's got the actual original Evo's got like lightweight gears, and I'm talking out my backside. I can't actually remember. I didn't write it down, but it'll never be an Evo. But it's gonna look like one, and that's the main thing. So that's what I'm going to do with that. So that's going to be a series of videos to make it look, and I can guarantee it's going to look awesome when it's full carbon. So obviously then moving on with the leftover parts from here, this is where I then tied it into what I'm going to do with the standard plastic bathtub DF-01. And again, I'm still sort of debating what's the best thing to do. But obviously from the Top Force, I'm going to have the FRP chassis and shock towers all left over. So the first thing I want to do is convert this chassis to the FRP, which is pretty cool, because obviously it's basically just the big gearboxes and then they bolt on. I'm going to have all the fixtures and fittings already, so that's a good thing. I'm also going to have the Top Force shocks, so I can put those on. I'm also going to have the FRP shock towers, so they can go on. So at the moment, I'm kind of thinking that the second part of this project is going to be converting this type of chassis to basically a poor man's Top Force, just because obviously that's the bits I have. But what I found really interesting in learning what I need to get and buy to actually do this conversion, because it is a bit of a minefield if you've never done it before. I've had to order, so as I said, I've got a full bearing set. So first of all, I've got the Blazing Star coming. So when that comes, it's going to be a case of stripping the gearboxes off, open it all up. With the brand new full bearing set I've got, we will fully ball race that car. What else is there after that? And the turnbuckles are coming. So I'm going to put the Tamiya Top Force Evolution turnbuckles, obviously, on the Top Force. And then all the full turnbuckle set from the Top Force will then go onto this car. Because obviously the standard plastic arms, it won't look good when it's got the FRP deck on. So I've got all that sorted. The next problem I have is the steering is different. And I don't want to go to the full expense of buying rather an aluminium steering set to put on the Evo, so I can take the Top Force one off to put it on here. So that's the only real grey area I have at the moment, is a steering. It's silly little things like the turnbuckles, and I don't, you know, I don't know what you actually call them, but the what the turnbuckle joints clip onto, you know, the ball joints. I mean, I have a few spares, but I don't have enough to do a full car, so I've had to figure out all the sizes of these ball cups, I think you call them, and the screws and the nuts needed. So that basically when I take the front and back end off this and bolt it to the FRP, but I'm then gonna, you know, because all these sections will be redundant. The screws, they're no good. So I think I've just about sourced. I've got a couple of cheap sort of ball joint sets, cups and the joints coming, which I hope with the stuff I've got will allow me to convert this over. And then the only other thing, as I said, is what I'm going to have to deal with is going to be the steering. I've not ordered the Top Force wing bracket because, again, just to give you an idea on cost of this, that picture I showed you initially of that beautiful gold Tamiya Club Top Force, when I priced up everything to convert my Top Force to that kind of spec, so full carbon, full aluminium, it was going to cost around about £380 just in parts, never mind the cost of the car in the first place. You know, it looks absolutely awesome, but I just can't justify that kind of money in it. And at that price, it's going to be really difficult to move on when I'm done with it. So I'm a little bit gutted I couldn't go to the full aluminium hop-up, but now what I'm doing is going to be good enough. Hence why I've not ordered the Top Force wire mounts, because again, you have to buy the couplings, then the wire, and then the bracket that goes across. By the time you've picked them up in bits, you know, that would be an extra £30, and it's just not worth it because I can just use this plastic one. Yes, it's not as good, and I'm not trying to make this into a standard Top Force. I want to make this a little bit custom. So we're keeping the plastic mount. So obviously, once the conversion's gone over to this will pretty much look like a Top Force, fully ball race, and I want to run it because obviously when we're building it from scratch, I think it'd be super cool to get it out there. So it's going to have Top Force wheels and tyres, Top Force chassis, and obviously I'm going to have my nice green box art Top Force wing under tray and shell. So that's what I'm going with at the moment. But the only thing I'm add to that, which I'm looking at the moment, I've noticed that some people on Google have used white arms. Now I'm trying to figure out if they're 3D printed the new arms, or I'm looking at if it's actually possible to dye these plastics. Right now I don't think it is, but I think it would be pretty cool. What I'll do is I'll just show you this picture, and then you can see what I'm getting at. That's a Terra Conqueror that one of my Facebook members has. I've asked for some more pictures of it so I can see it, but you can see from that picture whether everything's 3D printed or not, I don't know, or if it's dyed. But if I can do something like that as well, that'll make this super trick and a bit of a one-off. So that's what I'm looking at. So that's about that. So well done if you've made it this far. I haven't bored the socks off you, but there's a fair bit of work and planning involved in doing this, which I'm really looking forward to doing. It's kind of a one-off of this channel, but at the end of it we're going to have a superb looking Top Force Evolution lookalike, and we're going to have a pretty custom what started life as an original Blazing Blazer and made into something else, and we might take that further yet, I don't know. But you know, everything's on order now. It's right now forgetting the cost of the Top Force in the first place, but the cost of the free car, which I had to pay the shipping on obviously because it's in the UK and I had to get it to Canada, we're up at £290 in parts. It's mega expensive, but there's nothing you can do. The hobby's just expensive, isn't it? So that's part one. So once again, as I say, thank you if you made it this far. Thanks for watching. If this is your first video you've seen on this channel, please consider liking and subscribing for our weekly content. And most of all, guys, happy RCing.